What's the difference between a last will and testament and a Medicaid last will and testament? So real quickly, you probably already know your will is essentially saying who's going to get your stuff after you pass away. And you go to probate court and a judge looks at the will and assuming it's been signed properly, they put creditors on notice and then your heirs get whatever they're due. Sometimes we're talking about avoiding probate altogether. That involves a revocable trust. That is the subject for another video and another article, but now we're just talking about a will. It's important though that especially if you are your 70s, 80s, or later, and now we're thinking about maybe needing long-term care in the future, that instead of having a will, you and especially your spouse has a Medicaid will, a Medicaid last will and testament. What is that? Essentially, what it does is this. Within this last will and testament, we will place within your will what's called a testamentary special needs trust. Because what we're worried about is if you have two spouses and one of them or even both of them need Medicaid, when one passes away, if the surviving spouse is receiving help paying for their long-term care, whether it's Medicaid helps pay for home health care, Medicaid helps pay for assisted living facility care, it'll also help pay for nursing home care. If when their spouse passes away, they then, a regular will typically says when one spouse passes away, the other spouse gets everything, and when they both pass, then it goes to the kids. But if your will says that, now you're creating a problem because if they inherit assets, that's going to knock them off their Medicaid benefits, potentially, depending on how much it is. So instead of it going into their name directly, what we want the Medicaid will, the Medicaid last will and testament, what that's going to say is instead of it going to the spouse directly, it's going to go into a special needs trust that is for the spouse's benefit, meaning anything in that trust will not prohibit them or remove them from Medicaid eligibility. So that's wonderful because now they have a whole additional set of assets that they can use to improve the quality of their life because Medicaid pays for a lot, but it doesn't pay for everything. It's nice to have money set aside that's A, not going to count against their Medicaid eligibility, and B, that they can essentially use to pay for additional home health care, pay for the private room in the nursing home, get additional services. And by the way, entertainment expenses as well. Go buy a nice sound system or a nice TV, or it's nice to have little luxuries. And by putting the money inside one of these testamentary special needs trusts for when it's going from a deceased spouse to the spouse who has survived them, you're protecting their Medicaid, you're improving the quality of their life, and then after both spouses have passed, one of the best features is now the money can pass without having to go back to Medicaid. It can go to whoever survives both spouses, right? Typically it then goes to the kids, and Medicaid doesn't get to touch it because you've planned ahead because the money's in this testamentary special needs trust and not an ordinary special needs trust, which again is a topic for another time. But so essentially, if you have any anticipation of you or your spouse needing long-term care, it's very important that your will has this testamentary special needs trust feature. You want to ask your lawyer to make sure that they're giving you a Medicaid will, not just an ordinary last will and testament. If you are anywhere in the state of Florida and you want to talk about this estate planning or Medicaid planning, please give us a call, set up a consultation today. Thank you very much.